Hey, what's up, people? Cavecast. It's Todd coming at you as always. Episode 4 right now. We got some Tesla Edison action going on, talking about hybrid cars, a couple other things like that, platinum batteries, superconductors, thing called graphene. Ty talks about graphene. It's crazy technology. All right, guys, enjoy it. Make sure you like it, share it, comment if you want. Comment what you want us to talk about. We want to know your guys' ideas on this. All right, thanks.
Give me meters per second.
With how molecules move faster when they're warmed up and slower when
I
they're
believe
cooled.
that's why. Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
I could see why that
was that created that equation. But yeah.
What dictates whether a say a note, a musical note, is high or a low pitch?
Yeah.
Baritone sound compared to a higher.
Yeah. So
string.
I'm going to use the term hertz and frequency
Okay.
here, right? So basically,
measurement.
sound is a frequency.
Sound moves at 1,234.8 kilometers per hour.
There you go. The so how sound works basically is it's it's air that moves back and forth at a certain frequency, and when you have a specific frequency, you'll tie that to a specific note. Basically is how that goes. So when you're for example, on a guitar, and you hit the strings, it moves that string back and forth. That moves the pickup back and forth. Or if it's an acoustic guitar, that gets it amplified and resonated in the body and moves back and forth at a certain frequency.
Or could you say it's a vibration as well?
Yeah, it's a vibration. Yeah, exactly. That string vibrating back and forth is moving the air back and forth at that specific amount of distance over a certain amount of time. And so based on where the frets are is delineating notes, and that's where you're by shortening the string when you hit it, it's going to vibrate faster now because you reduced
less room.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's the idea is that those are tuned with a tuner to a specific frequency, and now those are universally set up as this is an A, this is a B, this is a C. There's two different kinds of tunings, though. So having said that, there's modern tuning where an A is set at 440 hertz, where historically, like back when they were making classical music and things like that, it's what's known as Pythagorean tuning, and that's where an A is 432 hertz.
Okay.
So the divisions are slightly different.
Any relation to Pythagorean's theorem?
Yes, same guy.
Okay.
Basically, yes, same guy.
Good.
The math derived is totally different, but he did sort of both of those
Okay.
things. He talked about both of those things. So it's that frequency that it vibrates at that creates a certain note. Your ear can hear about somewhere between 20, round down about 20 hertz. So moving back and forth 20 times per second. Up to something that's moving 20,000 times per second.
Okay.
A little bit less when you become an adult. It comes around 16 eventually, 16K.
Okay.
But yeah, that's how those they have those apps for the children that they can hear the thing going off, but you can't because you've lost that ability
That's
to hear that frequency range.
25% decrease. 20% decrease.
Yeah. But again, that's that super high. So the higher the number, the higher the pitch. That's really, really like a whistle. So that's why dogs, when you do a dog whistle,
yes,
that's at a high enough frequency that it's outside of the range where we can hear it. But that's why the dog's going nuts because that's an extremely high frequency.
Yes.
Right. So that's basically how a dog whistle works. It's outside the frequency we can hear, but dogs can hear at that frequency.
That also goes the other way too, because elephants, I'm pretty sure they communicate in a ultra low frequency.
Oh, excellent!
And they pick it up through the ground.
Through
their feet, they have sensory.
I've heard actually that the
feet.
Earth it vibrates at 7.83 hertz, I believe.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Earth's base tone kind of thing. So,
yes.
yeah, if they can observe that, then yeah,
they have a growl. You hear it on nature programs that it's kind of like a rolling growl. There's a lower version of that they put out that it's like I said, it's at such a low frequency we can't hear it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's low frequency.
Yeah,
it
it'll be
right.
under 20.
And it also travels an insane amount of like distance.
Yeah, so lower
Easily.
frequencies generally would be, I think you'd be able to do that better, right? Because it's generally to create that lower frequency, it doesn't require as much energy.
And I believe whales can do the same. They have a very low frequency
That we can't.
click that goes a very long distance as well. That is neat. That's something cool that we don't
Well, that's
like
and
humans are. We haven't like figured out yet how they do that. They have these
I don't know. Yeah,
ultra ways of communication.
yeah. But like I said, we just can't perceive it, and so that's why we miss it a lot of times.
Yeah, it's neat. Like that there's like this, not just like an other language. It's like not like it's almost like an advanced form of communication on like a primal level. Like we don't know how to do it. Like we don't communicate in that spectrum.
Right,
So it's like alien to us.
right.
And it's
You
like
could feel it
we yeah,
if you
you'd
wanted, right?
probably
Those
yeah, if you like recorded it, put it through a speaker and sat in front of it, you'd probably feel
you could
something.
physically feel it. You wouldn't hear anything, but you would feel that vibration at that level or whatever, right?
I think you'd
So
have to be
that's like,
close.
yeah,
I think it wouldn't be like standing a mile away, be like, ooh,
yeah,
I
I
feel
know.
elephant tremors.
No, exactly. You'd have to be, and there's something to amplify that signal,
Yes.
right? So,
Could you
yeah.
imagine if there was a way to tap into that,
Well,
or like a way to understand what animals are communicating?
that
AKA
maybe is
Aquaman.
well. I was gonna say Nikola Tesla, right? So in theory, some of his stuff that was stolen afterwards was around energy vibration and something called resonance, right? So that's where everything kind of vibrates at what's known as a natural frequency. Each thing has a certain vibration
Yes.
pattern or whatever, right? And so in theory, if you could like activate something at that, it should amplify kind of the input kind of thing. So you could in theory use that as a way of generating energy
Yes.
or negative damping in that
Yeah.
what's known as. But yeah, so the Tesla may in theory have been able to do some sort of power generation with that theory.
Yeah.
Can you explain his power thing to me? Like his
His
Wha-
contribution to electricity.
yeah, like
Yeah.
his what was the like
The-
the test? Like obviously,
Yeah, the Tesla Edison
Yeah.
basically story, right? And there's Westinghouse is involved, and there's some other things involved there. But to kind of definitely, if you haven't seen the drunk history on this, it's reasonably okay, and it's kind of funny to watch.
and what is
So,
this?
have you ever heard of drunk history on
No.
it's on Comedy Central?
Okay.
Oh, you'll absolutely love it. Yeah,
So just YouTube
So the-
drunk history.
yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
What do they do? Just get
Explain
hammered and
to
talk
him,
about
yeah.
history?
You got it exactly.
awesome.
So
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. So and then but they're like to attend.
You know what? I
hammered, right?
think I
So-
have seen an episode of that, and I don't know what it was about.
So
Yeah.
for this one, it's like John C. Riley and CRISPR Glover or whatever. Kind of he does the other character there. Anyways, the point being, so the story basically goes is that the two of them were essentially creating electricity at the same time. In theory, Edison came up with his DC electricity first, and the other thing with Edison is he was really good at marketing. As much as he was good at any of this kind of inventing stuff, he was just as good, if not better, at marketing, getting money to prolificate those inventions. Right?
I've heard a theory that he like wasn't that good of a scientist.
Was not generally as good as Tesla. He wasn't as brilliant of a man. That's
Oh,
I've
okay.
heard that as well, kind of thing.
Oh, so he was like
He's a good inventor. And he had a lot of great inventions. Now there's theories that he didn't invent everything. He came across things from other people and stole inventions and stuff like that. But we'll just say he did everything that he did. And, he may or may not have, but again, that's not the point of the story in the end. Like I said, I just wanted to set this kind of stage that Edison was like really as a businessman as much as an inventor.
oh, okay.
Right. So
So
when
did
he had
he-
a good idea, he got it out there. He was good at that. He was good at the execution of the invention as much as the inventing, essentially.
Do you think
Okay.
he stole Tesla's idea?
No. So that's it. It's a little bit different than that. So no, for this particular one, let's say, like I said, no, he stole other people's ideas in theory, is what people are saying. Not specifically Tesla, because they do electricity both in a totally different manner. Okay, so the way Edison had was DC power. What DC power is, you're directly translating the You're physically moving electrons through the conductive wire, whatever it is, and using that. So you're physically
So
electrons
what we have now.
flow. We have both still. So let me get there. So DC power again is like kind of like batteries, right? And what that is it physically sends an electron through the current and goes back to the battery. So that one electron goes all the way around, right? That it's very, very good for things like digital logic and stuff that you use. So, but the problem is it doesn't transmit over long distances well. So it's good for very low voltage sort of stuff. So actually something useful to generate for electrical, like for something like your phone or stuff like that. But like I said, it doesn't work for the power lines to get it from a central spot all the
Okay.
way there. So that's where here comes Tesla. So Tesla comes up with what's known as AC energy, alternating current, instead of DC, which is direct current. Instead of directly sending it around, you're now alternating the current. So essentially what you're doing is the electron, you're giving it energy, it bumps into the one next to it, and that transfers the energy to that one, and that bumps into the one next to it. So the electrons don't physically have to move. It's good at transmitting and pushing energy through the system, but again, it's a little bit harder to use because it ends up being a waveform and ends up in 3 phases. It's more complicated, and the generation is a little bit different. Again, you're basically having magnets that alternate whether they're on or off, and then that allows you to create a power generated from that in the motor.
Okay.
Fairly complicated. Like I said, you can go ahead and Google that, how
Yeah.
an AC motor works, but essentially you have the two different types now: DC motors, AC motors, DC power generation, AC power generation. Now you got two competing camps that want to win electricity.
Okay.
But the problem is they each do something really well, right?
Yes.
And so they each want to only sell their thing. So what ended up happening is they were trying to compete against each other. So Edison was like, "Oh, AC power is so bad because you can it's easier to kill yourself with it or whatever." So he would go and stage public executions of like dogs and killed an elephant one time. He's like, "Oh, look what
Oh
happens!
yeah,
The AC
I've heard of that
electricity,
one.
like
Yeah.
zaps them, right?"
Yeah.
Yeah, so just really horrific public displays like that, right? And so he basically puts out a negative campaign against him, right? So Edison the Tesla now needs to do something that's big. So it basically powers the world's fair, the AC electricity, and that's the big, huge thing, right? So between the two, that's like Edison didn't like he got that contract, and basically they were fighting each other for that.
Yeah.
The other thing Edison had to do was basically put his only power generation in Wall Street. It was so expensive to create that and transmit it; it could only go like a few blocks, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So he went to all the rich people. That's how he got all the money and was able to do a lot of these, negative ad campaigns and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Could you imagine seeing in the newspaper that day the two smartest men in the world are arguing over which electricity works best?
Well, we're doing that with
And-
automotive right now, right? Internal combustion engine or electricity. We're still having that argument, right?
Yeah.
So, and they all both have their advantages and disadvantages, and actually work best together as a hybrid.
Yes.
But again, this is where people have these diametrically opposed views. Where really, if you merge those technologies together, you get the best of the advantage of each one, right?
Yes.
What they need to do is upgrade the combustion motor, so that's not running off a fossil fuel. Like say you have like it runs off propane, and to charge a battery.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a internal combustion engine. It could be a rotor or like a turbine kind of thing. It could be there's a few different ways you can do that. Exactly. The one that would be brilliant would be if we have fuel cells. But again, the issue with fuel cells is the cost and basically the catalyst you need for the reaction. Essentially inside the fuel cell is what really makes it
And what is
crazy
that?
expensive. Naturally, it would be plutonium, or not plutonium, platinum. Sorry, but that's an extremely valuable, rare, yeah, product. You need $1 million worth of that stuff to make it. So they've used other things. I think it's like iron, iron cadmium, iron chromium. I think is what they're using now, and that's a cheaper sort of substitute, but does something similar in essence. But the idea is there's basically a membrane, and it's the way the electron is shared between the water molecules, using the polarity of the water molecule to basically extract electrons off. But so you can essentially use hydrogen as the fuel, and the output is water.
So why don't they do that? Or is that just too
Then
volatile?
it's the cost. It's the cost
Oh.
portion. Yeah, and then and then the issue used to be transmitting the hydrogen. No, it's actually getting a clean, efficient way of getting hydrogen. Right, electrolysis methods don't work as well from an energy efficiency standpoint. No, really, I mean, from an energy efficiency only standpoint, the best thing would be solar power, because you're getting energy directly from the sun. Everything else is a derivative of that, so you have losses in efficiency there. So getting that to the grid, and then basically electric cars from there is the highest. Then you're directly using that electricity, right? But the limitation is now your batteries. So there's a trade-off in every technology is the problem. So putting them together, you generally get the best of both worlds. It now creates engineering challenges because you've added weight and things like that, but it's stuff we can in theory get through eventually.
Combine them, make the best of the both worlds, but also get rid of
But
what
it always adds more problems. You just now have to attack that
address
next
that
problem,
issue.
right?
Too bad the battery wasn't like built into this watch. This is gonna fucking happen. I'm gonna get no money for this. They build the battery into the body panels.
Oh, probably. Yeah.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah, no, they have to find places to hide it. And yeah, that is a place that
probably
they're gonna
test
put it. The other thing with
The thing would be keeping it like in a contained. They have to be in a cell. If you could just have it in like a membrane protected like inner body panel, and you just fill that with the battery gel that they have now.
yeah, good, yeah. I think where everything's gonna go eventually, if we do get it down, is superconductors. The only problem we have with superconductors right now, we have to do it at extremely cold temperatures. So if we can get that sort of superconductor to work at a room temperature, you are now the person with the most money in the world. Like straight up.
So how do we do that?
Well,
Tell us how
graphene
we do that.
specifically. So you would
What is what?
so you can look this up. It's creating a process to create 1 atom thick sheets of graphene. If you can get that manufacturing process to work, you will have more money than anyone ever. There's a reason for that. So what graphene is a special way in which carbon can form into a hexagonal shape, essentially, right?
Okay.
And so if you can make these 1 atom thick sheets, it actually does a great job. This graphene of electrons flowing through it without any resistance, i.e., you're basically creating a wire with no losses, and you can store a crazy amount of energy in them.
Okay.
Okay. The other thing it does is you could roll it up, and now you have what's known as a carbon nanotube, and that's the strongest, like one of the strongest tensile strength of anything we know. Basically, you'd be able to create structures that we can't create today because we can. That would be an ultra light material that's 100 times stronger than steel. So we could create things we couldn't create now because that advanced material. So you not only would win structural stuff, you would also win electricity, and you can use these to create batteries that, like I said, not only do they can charge almost like instantly, and they can almost release their energy instantly. So you can make crazy, stupid supercars and things like that. So yeah, graphene. So right now we can only kind of create like powdery dust of it, or like weird chunks of it, is sort of the two main processes. So if you can figure out how to do that really well and efficiently, that is where the money is. Definitely. So graphene, look it up. It's the superconductor situation. If you can get that to work well, that's
You're
all
next Bruce Wayne.
that's
in this
all
world.
that's all the money you get all the money, because now you cars, cell phones will charge instantly. That kind of you can create things that would use considerably less electricity, so you can millivolts. So your battery, basically you could charge it in 2 seconds and it would last like a month for your phone.
Okay.
We just win electricity at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd be
super-
shot.
So well,
Someone would assassinate you before you could fucking put that out.
yeah. So you got to be careful. When
Duracell
Yeah.
would learn about this, be like, not today.
Well, that's the thing. If you ever figure it out, you like I said, you win everything.
Couldn't go public with the studies before you had it completely 100%.
Well, you have to though, because you have to get money in order to study and develop and research this
grants.
stuff, right? Yeah, you just hope that when you do get it, you don't get taken out. That's all.
Yeah.
The Rothschilds take you.
Well, like I said, it would revolutionize what we could do right now with computers, with electronics, with transportation, everything. It affects.
How did you
all the
learn
things.
about graphene? Where did that ever?
Ask Joe is a good program on YouTube. I again don't have any affiliation with it, but I do like some of the stuff he talks about. But yeah, from researching on YouTube of the latest things in science, essentially, right? And you say, okay, oh, superconductor, how do we do that? And then you kind of go down that sort of path,
Yeah.
right? So
The
Breaks it
rabbit
down.
hole.
yeah, so like I
Yeah.
said,
4
usually,
a.m. You're just like, whoa.
yeah,
Especially
usually
for
just
you.
YouTube. Yeah, usually just YouTube.
That's cool. That is
Yeah.
neat. Graphene. That's why.
Yeah, graphene superconductors. Yeah. So, like I said, electricity. There's all kinds of stuff we still haven't even tapped into yet. We're still pretty archaic with copper, and
Yeah, why is that? Like, why aren't we?
we're working on it. The technology's not there. We just
Well, there's like
we
fiber
haven't.
optic now. Why aren't we like humming through that? Like, I feel like they
It
don't.
helps. Yeah.
I don't know. I
Certain
feel like
things.
there's not enough effort in like good.
Advancements in
Yeah,
technology.
like there's just. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of like money put into just dumb shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
People
generally,
want
but
fancy watches and all that stuff. And
Yeah, like
oh, certainly, yeah. No, there's a lot better things we can be doing, but the thing is, there people are doing it, right? And it's just taking a long time to get that. As a society, if we decided to invest our money better, we could do great things. But again, everyone likes a white phone, so we're where we are.
what? Everybody likes
Apple,
a white phone.
Apple, yeah. Like
What is-
that's where like that's like one of the second or third largest companies in the world. They make an inferior hardware, and yet people like kill themselves over it. Like
I had
we
no idea about it. I didn't know Apple was like. I thought they were just kind of.
basically the specs of the last year's Samsung is the Apple phone. Now they do a better job with their OS and different things in the background.
Operating system,
System, sorry, yeah. For the layman there.
So who do you think makes the best phone? Like the most technologically advanced
Samsung
phone?
generally has the most one, and then their Note is their flagship thing.
Yeah, I've noticed that is.
Highly packed phone, yeah. Generally the most expensive one as well.
Yeah, I know I want it, but I seen it and I was like, frick, I don't want to pay that for that.
No,
Like I don't, because I don't think I would use even like an eighth of it. I don't even think I use like I got a 7 S7. I don't think I use.
how often you use the barometer on that?
The what?
Barometer.
There's a barometer on that.
I believe so. Yes, generally.
I don't even know if this one's waterproof.
S7. I'm not sure. I think so though. It's water resistant at least for
Yeah.
a bit.
Oh, what is that stuff that they? Oh, what the hell is that? They like. Oh, I seen a video on it about it. You like coat
The
something in it.
hydrophilic coating.
I think so. Yeah. There's a thing like they did it to a phone, and you just they dunked the phone in, and like all the water just.
Yeah. So basically, what that is it's something that has. It's using the polarity of water, the water molecule. So basically, it says I don't want water won't
Don't
stick to
touch me.
me.
This doesn't-
Exactly right. It kind of floats over top using like magnetism,
What's it called?
electromagnetism. Hydrophobic. Yes, hydrophobic is the because hydrophilic means you like water, you want to absorb it. Phobic is fear of water. So hydrophobic water fear is essentially what the Latin breaks down to. Sorry, no, that's that. Well, that's how I know the difference between the two, right?
I
'Cause you
think
can-
that's starting to become more popular because I just seen there's always stupid ads everywhere. One was about this guy sprays it on his boots and dunks it in like this like black water and pulls it out and it just beads off.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Yeah. It's like the ceramic coatings they put on cars now.
The
Like it's
Rain-X,
way better.
but-
No, it's like makes Rain-X look like dog shit.
Yeah,
It's
no,
like-
it's like a over the top wax.
It's like
basically.
$1,200 to have your car done, but
You
like-
never have to wash it ever
But you
again.
never-
yeah, you could
Like a
hose it
couple
with
of years,
mud and
yeah.
it'll just Like
it just falls off.
garden
It
hose it
all
off.
just falls right off.
Yeah, the concern, like they don't exactly have it perfectly clear. You get a little bit of a frost to it.
Okay.
So you have to be pretty uniform with it, and it will break down in UV. I think over time. So it's not perfect forever, but it is.
Yeah.
Seems like a pretty decent product when
I
you
think
see that.
I think my truck has it. That's why it's like soft. It has that soft
Right.
feel. Remember, I was like, why is my
Yeah.
paint so soft?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure it's like a ceramic coating.
Yeah, I forget what the name of the company. There's a couple companies that do it, but I think it's hydrophilic or hydro. I think it's hydrophobic. Hydrophilic would mean they would like attract water or whatever. The opposite.
Okay, so back to that. So you say Samsung has the most advanced phone?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
No,
I'd
what about
probably
like
say
those
Samsung.
Huawei ones? Or no, what do you have? You have something
Oh,
weird.
so I have a blue phone, which is a Chinese branded, like a Chinese company phone that I think they bought by a Florida company and then rebranded or rebadged or whatever. So it's a value phone. It's like a couple $100. It's not very expensive.
Is it good?
No, it's a value phone. It does. So the key thing is I got it because the battery is unbelievable. It's got like over 5,000 milliamp battery, where most of them are like usually in the like 3,000, 4,000.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in a sec.
Okay, so we were talking about me as like being an alpha.
Like
describe- yeah,
so I say
A-type.
A-type personality, sort of alpha. You're trying to be the leader of the group. You want to command and control the time and space and what happens, right?
I don't always think it's I want to. It's just it happens.
Right,
Like it's on a very because I was talking to Ricky about this the other day. Like I don't get bumped into much. Like when you're walking, people don't just oh sorry I didn't see you there. People have a fucking idea that I'm within 3 feet of them. Like I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's my posture, my just
Cowboy boots and yellow aviators.
that'll do it. But like it just it's weird. It protects like a bubble, and
He's
people.
got a Batman belt of weapons on him at all times.
Yeah.
You sound like
And
a guy
he
at work.
wonders why people don't accidentally bump into.
Yeah, because they may be stabbed. He's got knives sticking out of his thing, so he
the
just put his hands in
porcupine
his
effect.
pocket.
Stay away.
But yeah, that's it, right? Is
That was funny that you're just like he's an alpha, you're a beta, and I was like, me and you have talked about that before, Marshall.
Yeah, well,
like cool with it,
Yeah.
whatever happens.
Yeah, you're
right?
always just like, all right, I'm down.
No,
Yeah.
but it's good. Like it adds, but you can
What are
add
you?
and you fit into there. Like I said, well, I'm pulling the strings from the back end. You just don't know it. So I'm
Were
manipulating.
you an
this-
omega?
no, more of a sociopath, really, essentially, right?
likes to play God.
No, that's like I said. I know enough psychology. I can get you guys to do things, right? So I can kind of dictate and move things in a certain direction if I want to.
Careful, because
Yeah.
sometimes I got some pretty good brain movement.
No,
I've been reading. Okay, this
The
is
battle of wits has begun.
Yeah,
the brain movements. Yeah.
Careful now. I'm gonna set a couple traps on you.
Yeah. Here comes some thought bowel movements at your face.
So I've been reading this
Ear
book
hole.
and I've gotten a few different reactions. Okay, number one, the reason I'm reading this book at work is because I want to see what reactions I've gotten because yeah, I'm like that.
What's the book?
Sociopath. So the reactions that I've gotten to this book first are either like, "What the fuck is that?" Oh, you can read is one, and a couple of like intelligent people that know what it is give me a very like concerned look, as in like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah.
The book is neurolinguistic programming. I don't
Okay.
know.
Neurolinguistic
That's the word,
programming.
yeah. Apparently, I need
It is a
dr-
hard word. Yeah.
I need it. No, I need a drink because I'm.
Yeah. Brain words programming, if you want the broken down version.
Yeah. Yeah.
Neuro
it's had a,
linguistic brain words.
it's had a
It's
like
for the Rickies.
like set triggers in other people's brains.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is.
Can you give us any?
No, okay. So like, what I've been reading is how to build rapport.
Okay.
It's kind of neat. Like I have a basic understanding already going into this book of this kind of stuff. Things I've read, things I've watched, things I've researched.
And so it's talking about like how to build rapport, and it's like when you're talking to somebody, if you want to like build rapport with them and get them to like eventually trust you and then help you out, yada yada yada. It's networking is basically what you're doing. Is you mimic them. So when we're talking, like if me and you are standing there and we're talking and you're kind of leaning to one side and you have like your hand in your pocket, if I want to build rapport with you, I'm going to very, very subtly shift my weight to one side. A couple minutes later, put my hand in my pocket. And then if you want to get even deeper into it, you want to try to almost match your breathing and conversational patterns. Like say you talk like fast and then you slow it down, but then you're like, like you just veer off all the time. When I answer, I'll try to mimic your pattern of speech and it'll become easier for you to relate.
And
So
then you'll drop your guard and now you
yeah,
have
and then I can,
more control
that
now.
that builds rapport, and then eventually I can either like let you lead the conversation, or I can like veer you in a way I want to go and get you to agree to things. Or the other one too that I thought was neat is like an upside. If you get into a conversation and you want to end the conversation, so you'd be like, I only want to talk to this person. Like you're walking through the mall, you see somebody from high school. Be like, all right, I'm only give him like 5 minutes. I don't want to fucking stand here for 15 minutes in the mall. You can get into that like back and forth mimicking thing. Say you want to get out of it, change your posture and your speech pattern, and it'll like kind of make the conversation slightly.
It'll make the person uncomfortable.
Yeah, but
mean-
not like uncomfortable. It's harder for them to like stay in that rhythm, so they kind of want to end it faster. So that's in.
You establish a communication pattern with them, and you guys are talking on that level. And when you want to end that, you shift your feet away, and then you say, "Well," because that's
No,
the
you can do it
pattern
without
of
even saying well. You
Oh,
just do it just talking normally. But yeah, that is where I am in that book. And I think I've all right, that like power reading. You remember that guy on YouTube? He's always on the ads that shit. He was like, "Oh yeah,
I
here
read a book a day and now I'm
Yeah.
a millionaire. Look at my
That guy.
Lamborghini.
So
There's
I
two or
looked-
three of them. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
that guy."
Yeah.
Good for him because he's probably got more money than I do.
Oh, he's got a Lamborghini. That's
I don't
usually
care
a good
which way
sign.
he did it. Stupid ass YouTube ads, or if he
Well,
actually is that
That's
smart.
what he's selling you is how he did it.
Yeah.
Usually options trading.
So I've looked it up, and it's basically a form of just like speed reading. You just kind of, read like the first couple pages, breeze through a whole bunch, jump a couple chapters, breeze a bit more, this and that. You do that about like 5 or 6 times, and you basically have the book.
yes.
So you can do that in about a week. Like you can read a big ass book 5 times in a week being lazy. So if you want to be badass and rev that up. So I've done that with this book, but this time I'm actually going through and reading it
Yes. Yeah.
and seeing if I can pick up more that I haven't got.
Yeah.
Which I am now. Like I must have jumped this rapport building thing.
Yeah.
Like I had an idea on it. I know how to fucking talk to people.
Yeah. Well, that's how we did homework and read textbooks. It was like we read to the important parts and okay, what do I need to know? What questions do I need to answer? Where was that? Here it is.
What's your thoughts on this, Ty?
You're for the most part have been pretty bang on. Yeah.
What do you
Not much
think
to say.
of
You know what?
that book? Like, what do you think of learning that skill?
Yeah, that's like I said. It's how you can. It's a very important skill in business, right? It's kind of it is a bit sociopathic in the sense that you're doing it so you can get what you want out of people, manipulate them essentially.
To be honest,
Right?
I know
But
this is.
it is something that it happens to you, so you need to identify it as well,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And that's the other side of that coin, right? Not only can you use it, you can also see when other people are using it, right? So that's knowledge is always a good thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You're working
right?
on yourself too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like you do. Like I have just reading. Like when I ripped through that book, there is things that it's like, oh, that is right. Like I do notice that, and like you'll be like I've said, like you. Now that I've told you that, if you can remember that next time you're just talking to someone at work,
Yep.
just
Watch
notice
it.
if they're mimicking you or if you're mimicking them, or try to mimic them.
Yeah.
Like just play with it. I mean, it is
a skill you have to build so that you can think about what you're doing while you're continuing the conversation like flawlessly.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
probably something you're not going to do first thing in the morning. Well,
Yeah.
uh,
yeah, it's like, and then if you really have that skill in spades, now you're a hostage negotiator. Now you're, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
there, you can
Damage
build,
control.
yeah, you can build a hell of a career in a lot of different things if you got a skill like that.
Yeah.
reasons, but it's like I
You're
just
doing
want
it
to
for
try to get at.
selfish reasons,
Yeah.
which is perfectly fine, I
Yeah.
guess. I don't know. Maybe
I
it is.
don't-
Maybe it isn't. I guess.
greedy reasons.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like, why not? Why the hell not?
Well,
I go to work every day. I try to do my best. It's
trying to
like, you know
win.
what? Shit, I want a Lambo now.
That's the mindset you need.
Dan Bilzerian has one. What the fuck?
I need to win.
I need one.
Came here to win today. That's my mindset.
Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz?
Right. So
Here we go.
Song of great political importance. I think that's what she says before she starts singing that one. It's all done on one take, Janis Joplin. Yeah, but
Oh,
that's what
really?
that's what you're saying, right? Is basically that. But the inverse of that is what they actually teach you is do not covet thy neighbor's goods, or thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's goods.
Huh.
Old Testament, right? So
I'm also not religious.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's just
That's the other. Okay, so I was talking. That's the
that's
other
why
book.
the song's interesting.
That's the other
Anyways,
book I want to
digress.
read.
The Bible.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have one?
I have a few different copies and styles. Yeah.
What do you got?
Good News Book, which is my more modern version. It's got both the Old and New Testament. But my favorite one that I have is actually the Life and Times of Jesus of Nazareth. It was constructed, we'll call it, by Thomas Jefferson, the former president. Yeah, so he basically loved the story of Jesus, but didn't think all the bells and whistles and miracles and all that happened. So he basically just takes the Bible, cuts out the parts that he liked, and put it in chronological order. And so it's basically the story of Jesus without walking on water and raising the dead and all the other, magic tricks
Miracles.
that he theory did. Yeah. So it's the Life and Times of Jesus of Nazareth. It was originally constructed by Thomas Jefferson. That's my favorite one.
That's so funny.
I also have the Book of Mormon. I also got a couple other ones too, but ones the Dalai Lama and stuff like that. So yeah, you got to learn all of the things, right? Because there's some cool stuff out there, right?
Yeah.
Mormons got magic underwear. Like, totally should get a pair of those. Saves you from like knives and bullets and demons and stuff.
Yeah.
Get the secret password to get into heaven from Paul Joseph Smith, who was one of the guys who created the religion. Right? Like, you've probably seen that South Park episode.
No.
Oh, okay.
I never got into South Park.
Oh, okay. That's a good one. Good one.
So, all right. Well, do you have just a normal one? I just want to borrow one.
Yeah. No, I can just give you one. I got a pocket size one. I got a regular size one. I got
Yeah.
I got
Is
a
there
few
a
different
specific
versions.
story that you're
No, I just
interested
want
in
to. I just want to
reading?
read like a generic Bible. I just
Yeah.
want to have a better understanding of it. Okay, this is the thing. I wouldn't say
So
this is
I
like
would start at Genesis.
sociopathic, but I
It's-
like
So
to
you gotta start in
know
Genesis.
if I'm going to get into a debate with somebody. I really like it when I know as much as or similar to as what they know about it, and you can fucking destroy them in an argument.
You brought some artillery to the argument.
That's
Yeah.
when I get into arguments like that, like especially this happens
Okay.
at work. If I get into an argument at work and I know what they're arguing about, like I know their side as well as my side,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, good luck trying to get a word in because I'm going to give your argument for you and mine, and then I'm going to show you why you're wrong, and I'm going to learn you why you're wrong. You're going to believe me. I'm going to walk away, and it'll never be brought up again. It's
Okay,
like,
so Exodus 21 verses 20 through 22. You're gonna want those that's relating to slavery and like how beating women is okay and stuff like that. Um, y- there's some really messed up stuff in there.
oh yeah, all right.
Yeah.
So what is that? Exodus what?
Exodus 21 verses 20 through 22. So those are that's usually my favorite. That's my go-to there.
There's a story out there about you probably know what chapter it is, but it's about a bunch of kids who make fun of a bald guy, and then God sends like 40 bears out to kill these like kids because they made fun of a bald guy.
There's all kinds of
There's
stuff
all
like
kinds
that.
of goofy stories in the Bible.
Well, there's one about Sodom and Gomorrah, the two twin cities. You probably heard of this one potentially.
Yeah, they're just like cities
story
of
of Lot.
sex and sin and all that shit.
Yeah, and so Locke, the one God-fearing guy, basically Jesus goes to him and he's like, "Dude, I got to take out your cities, man. Like people are not they're worshiping a golden sheep, I believe it was
False
specifically.
idols.
That's what sodomites.
Thou shalt not, covet false idols, worship false idols. Anyways, yeah.
They did
so-
butt stuff.
They had all kinds of.
That's where you get sodomy from. 'cause
Sodomy.
Sodom.
Well,
Well, they're
yeah.
sodomites.
Yeah, well, that's really
And
any
to
time.
sodomize.
It's anything you're doing that basically isn't for procreation. So it's blowjobs falls into
Blowjobs.
that's really sodomy.
all the good stuff.
All the good stuff.
What religion is it where they have to like when they have sex to like only to reproduce? It's like a hardcore version of religion. They like can't touch. I think it's like Jewish Orthodox or something.
Yeah. So
And they like have a blanket with a hole.
Oh
And
my
you
goodness.
lay that on your wife and you do the deed through the hole and
because it's Old Testament stuff, right? Because it's
touching.
it's shouldn't if you
Who needs
I
to-
gotta get this one right. It's if you lust after somebody, you shall poke your eyes out so that you do not do that. And then if you touch somebody, you're supposed to cut your hands off so you don't
Yeah.
touch them again
It's
or
so
whatever.
literal.
Right? Yeah. And so if you take it literally, that you will be blind and have no hands. Right?
Uh-huh.
That's what it says to do in the Old Testament. Right? So yeah, Jewish Orthodox. You're perfectly correct there. So it's in the Bible.
Yeah.
The Old
yeah.
Testament, which I guess certain religions don't say
What's the
that's
difference
a
there
thing.
between like the Old Testament and the New Testament?
Basically different books basically the Old Testament is the story of God, sort of the startup. That's where you get Genesis and
Oh, okay.
story of Locke, story of Noah, that kind of
David
stuff. So
Goliath.
that's the Jewish
Revelations.
That is that's New
That's
Testament.
the end.
Yeah. So
Damn
then
it.
the story of
That's why I need
Jesus.
to read it.
Yeah, story of Jesus is New Testament, and then kind of Revelations being one of the added books, let's call it, and that's the sort of future side of things. So
That's the one with the lamb and
That's the one where there's dragons. That's the one where there's flying ox. Like there's a lot of crazy.
Yeah, isn't that the
creatures
one? It's
in-
like
Locusts will
Legends.
come was one of
The
there's
four
no, what's the
seven
one? It's
plagues
like and
all
behold, a
that.
pale horse. That's Revelations. I'm pretty
The
sure.
four horsemen, or
Yeah, that's the
Four
one they
Horsemen,
always
yeah.
quote and everything.
Yep.
Yeah, 4 horsemen come at the end of the world, essentially. Yeah, so that's Revelations.
Come and look, and I saw.
Yeah, and then you can just interpret what their thing is, and you can attribute it to something else, right? It could be comets, it could be nuclear, it could be all kinds of different things.
Yeah.
Like the
They
hell
use
raining
that-
from
they
the
use that in
sky
Far
and all
Cry
that stuff.
5.
Yeah.
The new one. They have it's like a religious cult, and they always got the quotes like on the loading screen.
Yeah.
It's all like Revelations and shit. And
Yeah.
you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, that one's really that one's fire
it predicts
brimstone.
the end of the
that's-
world, though. Like
Yeah.
it describes the end of the world.
That's
Says it.
that's when
The
Jesus.
Bible begins with the beginning and ends with the end of it.
Have you heard? Okay,
Gee.
what is that?
So
Have you seen Zeitgeist?
Yes.
What do you think of that?
They make a lot of compelling points. Again, it's yes, a lot of those things are true. The religions will say a lot of the same things because they're sort of derived off of each other, right?
And
So,
like
and-
seasons and
So
stuff.
the idea, so there's certain stories and stuff that have elements of truth and historical fact, right? A good example is the story of Noah, right? There's
Okay.
that almost every religion in and around that time frame has some story where there's a giant flood of some kind, and basically you have to sail to safety of some kind.
Okay.
And so that likely happened back around 11,000 years ago. Things you can Google: Graham Hancock and the Younger Dryas event. That's really what it's describing, which is essentially a comet came, hit sort of in the northern North America region, and basically lit a majority of the world on fire, caused all the ice to melt, and so in about a month's time, so over a short period of time, everything flooded essentially. So that's where talk about Atlantis happening around that time. kind of thing, where that story of it being taken out by giant water, the sea levels rising.
Yeah.
They think it's because of that, a comet hitting. And so actually about a month and a half ago, they figured out that, they think they found it. It was under a glacier in Greenland where they think they found where this actually
Really?
meteorite happened. Yeah.
Okay.
So now they have some evidence to say they are, and then there's climate data that shows this as well. So
Okay.
in and around that time is actually probably where the story of Noah comes from, is that massive cataclysm that happened
Yes.
back, the Younger Dryas event. So
What kind of what kind of technology do you think Atlanteans had? Like, do
it
you
was a city of gold, so they would have had electricity in order to do electroplating, things like that, right?
Okay.
It's possible they were very advanced. If in theory you believe that that city was there, it would have probably had a few million people living there, which is kind of throws in the face of what we think our human population has been
Okay.
over that time and stuff like that. So there's some
That's
weird
quite a bit.
weird things, yeah. Well, and we get a majority of the information on it from Plato, who was 6 generations away from actually surviving during the time of when that happened, right?
Okay.
He's a very famed historian, but who never knows? These could be inflated stories over
Yeah.
time, right?
Yeah.
So it's hard to say exactly what happened there.
Stretch the truth a little. Yeah.
Could be maybe not as big or that, but
Well, there's that theory that the Egyptians had like a type of electricity. So
in order to do gold plating, exactly, certainly. And then there's the Baghdad battery, which is really supposed to be the first battery, the first actual thing we found that would be likely.
isn't that it's a clay pot with salt water and a copper rod
That's
or something?
and that's basically what a battery is. Yeah, and they basically created that, and it was only going to be like a
Baghdad battery.
yeah. You put a couple of them together, you get a volt out of it. It's enough to do a little bit of a thing. But yeah, they call it the Baghdad battery. They just somebody stole it, and they'll find it again. So that'd be worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
Sorry, what would be?
The Baghdad
Baghdad.
battery. Somebody stole it, and they don't know where it is.
Oh,
right now.
the original
I
one.
believe so. Yes. Yeah.
Saddam Hussein got it.
Did you
Could be
know
anyone.
Saddam Hussein purchased 200 PlayStation 2s for a computer operating system during the war?
No.
This is like a literal like fact that he purchased like 200 PS2s for some type of operation project for
Yeah,
the
it's
war.
probably like a visual thing because it would be those would probably have better kind of like video cards and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's probably some 3-dimensional type mathematics.
Like the year 2000 or something.
But yeah, they're well, isn't that's the Microsoft Xbox was just basically old parts from that they kind of jammed together essentially to make a dedicated operating system on it. It's really just a computer, right?
Yeah.
They just used some old parts and put it together, and that was the first one,
Mold
basically.
parts.
Well, like from other computers that they've made in the
Yeah.
past, they just like, oh, this one's kind of good for video stuff, so we'll put this kind of thing in it, right? So
Yeah.
that's kind of how the evolution of it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true because I do notice that like console gaming is behind computer gaming. Not so much graphic wise. Well, maybe. Well, I don't know. But there's like a lot more games and a lot bigger games for PC than there is a console.
More
It-
customizable
that-
too.
I think that has to do with fees and stuff for getting it on there, probably, right? Might be licensing stuff. Sony takes a
But
cut
the thing is,
to have it
consoles
as
are still they're just becoming like downloadable games, but you still only have like you can't really. It's you can get bigger and better like graphic and memory and storage on a PC than you can a console without going nuts.
well, a lot of it's space, right? You
Yeah.
have way more space on a computer, a tower, than you do on any of the systems that you can purchase now, right? So
Yeah.
the function of space, and then the other function it is of how you cool it. So that's actually the number one thing with computers is thermodynamics. When you process stuff, it generates heat. It's getting that heat away as efficiently as possible is the thing that's going to allow you to push that further, put more electricity through it, therefore go faster and things like that. So really, it's managing the heat as does more than anything for speed.
You would think they would just be a big honeycomb, like a honeycomb box, all open. You'd be able to dissipate heat. That'd be the most. Like,
the problem is then you'd have the other elements coming into it, humidity, and you can control the environment as well if it's open. Yeah, you can keep it wide open, but no, it's like dust and stuff will get into places it shouldn't be, essentially, right, and short stuff out. And that kind of thing, right? And then that can clog up your whatever instruments or you could be using for cooling, right? If you have a water cooled, you're in a better scenario. But if you have a fan tied to it in any way, shape, or form, you're gonna have that's a moving part that's gonna need to move, and you'll have problems with dust and things like that. So
You can have water cooled compute like
yeah,
PCs.
yeah, oh certainly, yeah.
Oh,
You've
that's
had them for a long time.
wild.
Yeah, well, it's a you can more efficiently get rid of that.
How the hell does that work?
Basically the same way your engine works, right? You're putting that fluid next to the thing that's generating your power, which is either your engine, your cylinders where the explosion happens, or it's basically a mat of like a radiator mat that basically you would put that on top of the CPU, the chip itself, right? And you would just pump water through that.
Do you
So
have
as
one?
you circulate, no, I don't.
Do you
No,
want one?
uh, I mean, sure, at any it's nice to have nice things, but
Oh, okay. It's
I'm
not
not
like
gonna go out and get it essentially. So
I've always wanted to get into like PC gaming and just
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
yeah, but
Schedule an
I like
hour
the
a
idea.
day.
I didn't even think of this. You have a PC hooked up to your TV.
oh, you got to do that. That's basically what an Android box is. This really really tiny computer,
Yeah, I
right?
Yeah.
never.
Now I got everything, and I
Yeah,
can
I
put Kodi on that. I can go on the internet, YouTube, Netflix.
like. I'm
I
not
got
gonna
everything.
lie. I'm actually
AutoCAD.
looking at getting just another PC and just sticking it on there. Like you got the wireless keyboard with that mouse on it.
Yeah,
That's sweet.
yeah. That's now you have a smart TV. You can any TV you got is now a smart TV to a nth degree, to a much more customizable nature. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that is the way to do everything. You don't have to have antennas. You can pull everything right off the internet, that kind of thing, right? So, you would never have to pay for. You only pay for your internet. You don't have to pay for any cable or satellite, right?
I don't
It's
have
all
cable
there.
or satellite.
No, but if you had, you could get rid of it at that point.
Yeah.
You can get movies.
Well, even
You can get
the
everything. It's
gaming too.
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then gaming right there too.
all
Yeah.
the PC games sitting on my couch. That's the big thing. Is like I don't want to sit in front of a computer screen and play video games. I want to sit on the
Yeah.
couch.
Yeah, there you go. You might just need a little pad or something like a little desk
Table tray.
tabletop kind of thing, so it's in a good spot for
Well, you
you.
can get
but-
those like the gaming keyboards.
yeah,
Where it's
This is-
like the one half of the keyboard, and you get that like gaming mouse, just on each arm,
yeah,
basically.
yeah. You just need a kind of a surface to put that on. You're laughing. Yeah, as long as it's wireless, that's the keys, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's the way to do her. And then yeah, most TVs it'll be you got to get audio through it too. So you just do a setting to make sure your audio is going through your HDMI.
Yeah, it's just HDMI.
Yeah, well, it's as long as you got a video card. Some of them might not have that and only have VGA. If you do that, it may have a separate sound that
Well,
PC. You
I
tie
have
that
a,
into the audio in.
I have surround sound, so I have a like
Oh,
an amp. So
okay,
I
so
just
you
go.
left right into that. Yeah,
Yeah.
off
It goes
off of the
it's
8th.
HDMI.
Oh, okay, then perfect. Yeah, it goes through all that. Perfect. The newer one, good. Well, that reminds me. Does anyone have an old those big old rear projection TVs that doesn't work anymore?
I don't think so. Why you want to make a fish tank?
I don't think so.
Solar death ray.
What?
Yeah. So inside those, there's like a giant, like a giant TV, like those old ones. Basically, what it had was basically it's like a projector in
Like
there
a projector
or whatever.
TV. Is
Yeah.
that what we're-
Yeah. So it'll have lenses, and then that goes on to this. I think it's called a Fresnel lens, if I'm getting that correct. Basically, it's a really, really good, huge lens. So if you take that, you put it in like a wood form or whatever, you can use it to like concentrate the sun to a focal point, and you can like melt metal and stuff with
It
it.
would get that hot.
Over 2,000 degrees. Yeah,
Holy cow.
Fahrenheit. Yeah, yeah. You literally melt metal.
Yeah, as I say, steel
It lights concrete
steel melts
burns.
at 1400. So yeah, you'd be.
Yeah, you can like burn the concrete. Like yeah, it's like
Carve
really.
your name in the road.
Yeah, exactly.
Ties out there on the road with this big wooden thing.
Yeah. It's pretty. There's like I said, a video on there. I forget what the name of the channel is that does it, but it's pretty sweet.
How long
So,
do
yeah,
you think
solar
that would
death
take
ray.
to charge? Like,
Is it like
How-
instantly or is it?
Well,
like,
yeah, right. It's just It's like you ever used a magnifying glass like burn ants?
yeah.
Yeah, but
It's-
that takes
it's
a
a-
minute.
but
You gotta
yeah.
like
Well, you
get
got
it
you got to get
focused
the
and-
angle, and yeah, so that's why you put it in this sort of rack that tilts or whatever, so you can get that angle right or whatever. But
Yeah, but even when,
but
like-
once you have it, now that you have that focal point, I can just basically go like this with a piece of wood, and it's like on fire instantly. Like it's
Oh,
Laser
yeah, it's like
beam.
that.
it's like
intense?
yeah, it's like wood on fire. Wood, yeah, it's like 2,000 degrees at that focal point, right?
We're
It's all
creating superpowers here.
That's
yeah.
insane.
So yeah, if you have an old TV, you can do that with it. YouTube it. There's a YouTube on the guy just melting shit with it for one, and then
So
the
is
other
this
one
what
is
we're doing
the
in the
how
summer? We're
to.
driving around looking for people throwing out TVs.
Well, I see, we could easily make one. It's
Does it
pretty
break?
straightforward.
That lens, does it break easy? Like if they went out there and dropped the TV, would that be?
Good question. I don't know. It's hard to say.
We could build it and sell it as not a laser beam, like how Elon Musk's flamethrower.
Oh,
is
the boring.
Yeah.
not a
company?
flamethrower.
There you go. Yeah, actually, yeah, we'll auction
Not
it
a
off.
laser beam.
Here
We sell 1 million.
yeah.
Oh my god.
No, yeah, it's definitely something that's doable. There's a lot of cool stuff you can
Oh,
do
yeah.
like that, right?
If people buy a lightsaber, they'll buy not a laser beam.
Was it on? Was it King of Awesome or no?
King of Random.
King of Random. That's
King of
it.
Random. That's it. Yeah.
He
that's
made
the
the one I liked. He made like this. It was a forge oven,
Okay.
like to make.
Yeah.
Like,
For
yeah. It was in. It was in
blacksmithing.
it was in a planter, like for a
Okay.
plant, and that's how he like hid it in his garden. He like pulled it out. There's like a fake plant in the pot in this casting.
Yeah.
Take it out and turn it sideways. I was like, oh, that's kind of neat.
Dude, I'd love to get into blacksmithing. I think that'd be a really neat hobby.
Yeah, oh, for sure it would. I was just I used to have a forge. And I don't think I have it anymore. Like it was,
Oh.
you had to hand crank that thing.
Oh yeah. yeah.
That's cool. That's neat.
I would love to. That's like
Hand
one of the
crank
skills I
bellows.
want to like. I want to be able to turn out a knife.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
just
You
not
should.
with.
It's something that we're gonna have to do when apocalypse happens. So it's definitely
Oh,
a
dude,
skill.
I
Stone
cannot
Age.
wait. Like I am so excited for like just total collapse.
Yeah.
I got
I'm
like
not
I got
overly
I got a
excited, but-
bug out bag. Like I kind of went prepperish.
Oh, you got that far. I don't have.
I didn't. Well, I don't
stocks
have
and
like
any of
a
that.
fucking evacuation plan. It's basically like I've told Ricky, I'm like, okay, if shit hits the fan, hashtag on that one. I'm like, just grab the kid, grab a backpack full of some shit, and we're just driving up north. Like that is
Yeah.
my.
Get away from civilization.
What would you
Oh yeah.
What would you bring with you? What would you put on your body and in your truck if you had 15 minutes to go through your house and leave?
Guns and knives.
Yeah.
Weapons.
I could get away with probably the knives on me.
Okay.
It would definitely be. I would try to grab at least one handgun and ammo.
Yeah.
A shotgun and ammo.
Okay.
A rifle and ammo.
Okay.
Right.
Right shoulder, left shoulder, side holster.
No, I would just bag them. Like I got a couple cases. Well, my AR bag. Like that's the thing. Like
Yeah, I'd be getting my cars, your truck stocked up, or cars.
Like,
stocked
I
up with that
have
stuff.
a-
I'd just be feeding into there.
Yeah.
I have
That rice, because non-perishable food items, water, and tent,
Yeah.
essentially, sleeping bag.
yeah,
But
like
if
that's
you can
something
get-
I'm building that now. Like I'm looking at getting. There's a couple companies that build. They're like emergency sleeping bags. They're good for like minus 15, but they're like kind of small. They pack down small.
Yeah.
They're enough to like get you through. Like you can use them, but it's not something you want to be, every night in for like months. It's
Yeah.
like I need a fucking sleeping bag right now. So this
Yeah.
is it.
Freezing weathers. It's not gonna
Yeah,
fit,
and
but
it's good enough that it works in cold weather. Like they're not luxury, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, you'd want to have like I have a bag in my truck that's just kind of like an emergency backpack.
Yep.
So in that I have 2 pairs of socks. I have like normal socks and heavy socks. I have a pair of long underwear. I have a pair of like my work pants.
Yeah.
They're just like cargo pants.
Yeah.
Because I have it like I drive my truck to work and this is in my truck. So I have it as set up as like say I get covered in something at work like we do with like for the tire and wheel. I could get covered in soap or like
Yeah.
a lot of grease and dirt and stuff.
Yep.
So I have a change of clothes. But yeah, so I have heavy socks, light socks, boxers, pants, long underwear, a t-shirt, a hoodie, a toque in there. I have like gloves, just like a normal pair of just like those
Like
mechanics gloves,
Yeah.
just like those.
Would you
Uh,
have a weatherproofing jacket, some kind,
no,
like a
I have
two-U
I have
jacket,
a
or
like an unlined rain jacket. I have that rolled up. That's under my seat in my truck though.
okay?
So as long as I have my truck, I'm pretty set because there's enough stuff in the truck that I can work with.
Yeah.
But the big thing is I actually am like kind of relied on that truck like if I had to do a like bug out thing.
That's a problem. Is the gas situation goes to shit.
Yeah,
This
there's
is
that, but as long as I
anarchy.
can like if I could get this is the plan I would have is grab what we can. The truck can hold a lot. Like I can put a lot in the truck.
Oh yeah.
I have the roof rack on the truck. I don't really have the roof rack as as a prepping kind of idea. I have it just for when we went up bear hunting and I put a boat up there. But at the same time, I have that. So yeah, I can just
Oh yeah.
throw the kayaks up there. Now I have boats.
Yeah.
Like I would make sure I would like if I had say something happened and I had, 15 minutes isn't a lot to completely evacuate. Like if something happened right close, 15 minutes, you wouldn't be getting a lot and you'd be getting out pretty quick. But I wouldn't be going far. Like I would try to get back.
Yeah.
Like if you had to sneak back or something and get stuff, or you'd have to like steal it on the way.
Yeah.
Is my thought on it. So I would try to get like the kayaks, the fishing rods, as much of my like hunting gear that I have, any like survival and camping shit. Like I got all my camping stuff in totes. So it's
Okay.
not like I gotta go digging. It's like grab the camping tote. And that's
Yeah.
something I also
Nice.
want to improve more is like
Oh,
putting
that's real
stuff,
smart.
categorizing it, having it labeled and having it not just because I mean that helps with data like when you change seasons and stuff. Be like, oh, we need this for
Yeah.
this one. Oh, we're gonna go camping this weekend. Just grab a camping tote. But it also helps for that. It's like, okay, so something happened. Boom, camping tote. Boom, fucking like like a tote full of just non-perishables.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you'd have that. Like you can set that
Water,
up.
yeah.
Yeah, you
Beyond
can.
perishables, water. That's what you need, kind of that.
And even if you can, so
Like
you can go
rice,
one up
beans,
above.
that kind of thing.
Yeah, you can go one up above from water. If you don't want to haul water, you have to have a way to clean water. So you can have like you can get
Boil
you can get those life straws.
Yep.
Those are good for like I think it's like 200 gallons or something. You can pump through it. But they're a personal straw.
Yeah.
You can use it to filter. You can get the chlorine tablets. There's the iodine, but no, not iodine pill. There's
Yeah.
another
Salt.
there's another version that does it.
Yeah, you can just get white gas, just boil water, right? That's the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to make sure you have ways to make. So the big thing, like
Yeah,
it all
fire, so-
incorporates like being prepared for a global incident or even like a national incident like that where there would be panic. All kind of trickles down into like different skills you have. Do you have survival skills? Do you have like
Agricultural skills. You have to grow your own food. You'll have to
Yeah.
it's basically getting food, water, and shelter.
And there is
right?
a
So you have to be
huge
able to do
market
that.
right now for all of this.
Yes.
Like you're talking about like agricultural skills. On Amazon, you can buy I forget the hell it's called, who the company is, but it's packages of seeds.
Okay.
Like it comes in a kit.
In bulk of
yeah, it'll
seeds.
be like survival heirloom seeds. And they'll be like, 100 corn seeds, 100 tomato seeds, 100 bean seeds. Like there's enough in there that you could, get some yield out. Because I mean, a lot of that stuff, you can just let it go to seed and grab the seeds from it.
Yeah.
And that's something that I don't think is talked about a lot when it comes to like prepping and survival and stuff is that, yeah, if you can get to a situation where you can, that's the other thing too. You got to be able to set up if you're going to get somewhere to plant and farm. So when you decide that you're going to put crops in the ground, you've decided that you are staying there for like 6 fucking months.
Yes.
At least.
Well, with like lettuce can grow the quickest, and that's like 15 days or something.
Really? Okay.
or 25. I might be wrong. It
If
might
you-
be like 30 days.
If you can prep for
But you can get lettuce to grow pretty quick. But even that's like, well, so if say it's 15 days, that's like 2 weeks you've dedicated to staying in that spot.
yes.
Yeah, so you have to have stocked amount of food and supplies and water and
Yeah,
everything
you have
Yeah.
to be in a situation
to produce.
that is good enough. Now that's the other thing. So say you go over and be like, all right, um, say we had like a cottage up north.
Yeah.
That would be the destination we go. Okay, so we have that, is that secure enough that if there is a big problem that's enough protection? Like, is it isolated enough? Is it going to get raided? Is it going to be a
Well,
problem? Like, are we going to have
you would have to develop a barrier at that time, right?
Yeah,
You'd make
like-
it isolated enough to give you the time to develop the barrier. Is
Yeah.
essentially.
Is it on like if it's like if say you have the cottage in like the Muskokas, that's not like there's still would be like say mayhem or looters.
It-
Like there's
it'd still
enough
be
of a
18,000 people live
Yeah,
in
there's
Huntsville,
enough
right?
people there to cause
Leaming,
problems.
it's Leamington.
Yeah.
Or no.
So you would want to
no,
be
sorry. Double Kingsville.
you'd want to be like back
Yeah.
off of a road and your nearest neighbor is like a couple miles.
Yeah.
Like basically you want to like you don't want power at that cottage. If you don't have like running water and power, you're probably far enough away.
True.
Because that's the other thing you got to remember too is like like what is the situation that happens? It's just like a nuke goes off and it's just dangerous and all that stuff. You got people running from stuff. If it's like just a like collapse of the government and it's like anarchy, you have violence.
Yeah.
So you have two different problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That overlap because you'll have like
Could
I
be-
said, if you're running from like all right, say
Could be
the
climate
nuclear
change.
power plant, yeah, something like that, something goes off and people are trying to get away from a situation. That's not as bad as if people are just doing whatever the shit they want.
Yeah.
If there's panic and people are running away, it's people just running away. It's not people.
Yeah. They're escaping. like,
Yeah,
the-
if it's like I said, if it's just panic, you have a whole different situation. Like we've seen in like with
zombies,
Katrina,
disease,
there was
lots-
looting because like emergency services were like taken out. Like they couldn't deal with everything, so people were just going bananas.
There's too many people in one location that do not have either food, water, or shelter. There's not enough to go around. Automatic anarchy. People freak out instantly.
So they start just looting whatever they want. It's like it goes from
Survival instinct.
oh we're gonna
takes
break in
over.
here and steal food to like oh cool there's a fucking TV, why not grab the bread and the flat screen.
Yeah. There's nobody to stop you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's an issue, and that becomes a defense problem. Like if you have to, so say we had a cottage up north. Say government collapsed, grab what you can, evacuate to that. That's your, so it's like us and like our immediate family. Like that's our plan. That's our evacuation plan. So we get there. Okay. Now what? All right. So we got, we're 10 minutes out of a town that has like 200 people. Probably don't need a big line of defense. Still going to set up like a guard scenario. So now we got to make sure you have like weapons. You have an idea of like, so when you get there, you don't have to like think about how we're going to do this. You get there, you're like, this is the plan. Marshall, go watch the road.
Yeah.
Ty, me and you, we're going to unload. We're going to set up like the cabin, the house, get all the food prepped. We're going to see what we got.
Yeah.
This, that, and the other.
You're gonna want to be on the high ground, so you have a.
I
good-
have none of that.
You. Well, yet.
Yeah, like I have basically, if my truck goes in a ditch and I can't get out, I can survive the night in my truck. Is essentially what it is. Or,
Like I said, we could be in theory some form of communication, shortwave radio in between as you're going up, and then you can develop a loot plan on your on your way to the destination, because you basically once you get there you want to stay there as much as you can, right? So
the other thing too is like because I've gotten into like the everyday carry, which gets into like prepping, which is this and that, and bug outs. There's like the shit hits the fan thing. There's people that like preppers that are like hardcore. You get people that have like don't like dedicated tens of thousands of dollars into this. They have like underground vaults. They
Yeah.
have.
Yep.
It's crazy, like bunkers. Like
Yeah.
if you go on Pinterest and punch in like a survival bunker
Oh
or
yeah.
any of that, it's like
Take
it's a
your pick.
tube buried in the ground, and you're like, okay, cool. It's this narrow passageway. You get down there, it's like there's a flat screen, a wooden
It's nicer than your house.
yeah, a wooden
Yeah.
entertainment center, and like reclining leather chair. And it's the guy's like, well, there's a possibility we're gonna have to spend a lot of time down here, so it should be comfortable. And then you got people where it's like, this wouldn't be a permanent thing. It might never happen. So here it is. And it's like they got a couple of wooden cots and a radio station and like a bucket to piss in.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah,
yeah, there's
still-
two big differences here.
Yeah. Actually, it's if you want to go to the place that has the most of that doomsday preppers is the Ozarks, which is sort of in the northern Arkansas. That's where I would say to go. Basically,
Or out west, like
It's-
Montana and stuff.
well, no, it's specifically there. There's a reason for that because of when the climate change goes bad and there's a major flood, like basically Noah's Ark
oh, yeah.
situation. That's high enough and remote enough that it's actually one of the best places to live. The largest majority of retired U.S. Navy officers live there.
Wow.
It's an anomaly that the basically the insurance industry saw, and they're like, "Why is this?" They know something that we don't. So the largest number of doomsday preppers and largest number of U.S. Navy officers live in the Ozarks.
Wow. Retired.
So that's
too, so
that's
they
where
know
to
some
go.
stuff.
Yeah, exactly. They were high enough to be have
See,
all
now,
that
now that
information.
throws in a problem, like for us, is now we have to cross a border.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't worry about borders at that point.
No, but you have a water crossing. It's not like you can just, like out west, you can just,
But-
fucking, that's all backed up, rip across that field. We gotta,
No, we just steal a boat. Drive across.
yeah, but now you're losing now you're losing your truck. Now you gotta get another vehicle.
Yeah.
You gotta transfer all your goods.
Yeah.
You're almost, what almost the best bet would be is have a damn houseboat. Just get
Oh,
to the
you're none of
houseboat,
yours.
throw your shit on it, and just drive out in the middle of the water,
Yeah.
park, and just defend it. It's
You are a sitting duck though, for that time.
to whom?
Yeah, and how are
Well-
they gonna loot you? Like you basically have to
Like, yeah,
pirate-
you're
it's
gonna
pirate
have-
situation, but you should be in theory ready for that.
Yeah,
Right.
you have a higher possibility of getting into a shootout or something like that,
Yeah.
or conflict, but it's a hell of a lot easier to defend yourself.
Yeah.
Because number one, you're on water. Humans aren't very good in the water.
Yeah, and if you take them out, you can't get their stuff. If they sink your ship, they
Yeah.
can't get your stuff, so it's a fruitless effort then.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I,
So
s- I
it's-
suppose you're as vulnerable anytime, anyways.
There's just probably more volume of people that would not be on the water, more than likely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
so
can
you
see
could at least,
Like I said, if you can get kind of far enough out, there's a lot of places that you can't really get to easily by land or like a land vehicle.
Yeah.
So you can hide. Like like I said, if you get up north or whatever into all those lakes and river systems, if you can get into that, like say with a houseboat, you can duck that in like some little hidden cove,
Yeah.
and you can get off, you can hunt, you can set up like a garden or something, and if any kind of issue comes up, hop on the boat and leave. You don't have to leave far. You can get out far enough that you can monitor to see until it's safe or something.
Yeah.
That'd be like one of the best ideas. The only problem again is, well, you'd have weather would be an issue. Like
Yeah.
you got a bad storm and you're stuck out in the middle of the lake on a fucking pontoon boat. That ain't good. You're gonna
But-
get tossed around.
you still got to develop. You guys still got to battle the elements
Yeah.
wherever you're at.
Fuel.
Still.
You can't
Yeah.
just like if you run out of fuel, you're just floating around.
That's
So
why
there-
you need solar,
yeah, you
wind,
need some sort of
renewables, tidal if you're on the coast, but more than likely you wouldn't be. Not in this scenario we're discussing.
No.
I wonder if people would still post on Facebook and Instagram. They'd be like, "Oh, we're just floating down the Lake Erie River."
Well, the system would be knocked out.
Yeah,
That'd be
you'd
the-
have
you
no
think so? Though
Power would have been
Well,
destroyed
it-
long prior.
I don't
right?
know.
We're
Satellite-
talking an anarchy situation where
Okay.
you're not going to work anymore, so there's no more power,
True.
right?
Yeah, there's
I guess it's only what you create.
No power. There's no Facebook. There's no. You can't
even if it
recharge
was
your
only
phone.
here and not
That's the
somewhere.
problem.
like we would still not. You'd have to get outside of this area to get that.
Generators and ham radios, would we be back to that, basically?
Okay. Did you see a
More
group of polar bears invaded a town in Russia because they were looking for food? And I'm talking like a group of polar bears. Like,
Oh,
Yeah, it
yeah.
was like 12 bears into a town of 14.
yeah.
Oh,
Something
shit.
ridiculous.
And the police or authorities said it do not shoot these bears. Like, just try to avoid it. They said
Right.
they're on the endangered species list. Like, you'll be,
Well, they have
arrested
that problem here.
if you
Yeah.
shoot a bear.
Churchill.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Sorry.
Be black bears, though, probably, right? Probably.
No, it's polar
No,
bears.
same. Yeah.
It's like the most southern place they touch, but they have this
Okay.
problem because they come in on these the icebergs
right.
and the ice floats into this because it's attached to what is it?
That's Hudson's
Hudson
Bay.
Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they come in there and then they're like in the town and the townspeople. It's like, oh yeah, polar bear season. Don't let your kids out. Couple people lose a dog. Oh yeah, it's just like, but that's a common thing there. Just like there was a town I went to when I was in Montana a whole bunch of years ago called the Pouliere. There was, I think had a population of 12, and grizzly bears outnumbered them like 3-1,
Oh,
and it was not
yeah.
uncommon for there to be a bear in town. Yeah, I remember the guy I was with was like, oh yeah, they have a big bear problem right there. And it's
Yeah.
like that one chunk of Montana has a lot of grizzly bears.
Yeah, they just call it the bear problem. People know about it.
Yeah. Well, that's
The people
the
don't
thing,
own,
right?
own that land. The bears own that land.
That's the other thing too, is if you live in that kind of situation a lot and the bears are in it a lot, you're more in tune to it. Like,
Yeah.
I would walk out of a store there and damn near trip over the fucking bear, whereas one of them would be like, oh, there's a bear, I'm not going out the door just yet.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what do you stop for? The bear? Oh, shit, yeah, I would have basically
Yeah.
stepped on
Well,
it.
they're used to it, and then
They know what to look
well,
for,
the
yeah.
bears are also kind of used to humans at that point too, right? So they generally
That
won't have
that
so
was
much.
another weird thing is how like the domestication of wild life.
Yeah.
Like that same trip we went to Yellowstone National Park. I was like you to me away from a full-grown female bison with a baby bison.
Oh, you're really
Like a
taking your
calf.
life in your hands there. Then good
But
move.
it's
They're
just
rolling the
walking.
dice.
It's walking through a crowd of people. Like I'm walking down the sidewalk in the park. Like
That's bizarre.
there's like 70 people near me, and there's like 30 bison just hanging out, sitting by because they're all hanging out in the near the geysers.
Right.
It reeks of sulfur. There's no bugs.
Right.
So they just hang out in there, and it keeps all the flies off them. But literally, like you to me away, and she's just moseying by with the calf, and it's like
Must be used to it then. 'Cause
they're
that's
just so
bizarre.
accustomed to people. I mean, there's signs where do not touch the wildlife. Probably not the best idea. Not gonna lie, I got away with it.
Yeah.
She walked by me, and I just put my hand out and like just grazed her with my fingers, and it was like, well, that's enough. I didn't need to like grab a hold.
Yeah.
That
See if you can stay on for 8 seconds.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is like I hate it. They got to put the signs up for like common sense. It's like, yeah, don't grab the baby buffalo, you moron.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's so cute.
Give it like a gentle touch maybe on the way by, and you'd be like, dude, I just like touched it. That should be enough. Not like, oh
That's-
look, I picked it up.
That's not. You're still taking your life in your hands. That's a big old animal. That'll take you out, man.
Yeah, but it would have no idea that I did that. Like the fact that it felt it was probably unlikely, but it was like soft enough that there would be no harm. Like I would have touched it no different than if it walked by a branch.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not
Yeah.
like I'm good old buffalo there walking by.
Smack it in the ass.
Yeah, no, like, and that's the thing is people would do dumb shit like that with these signs weren't there because they still do dumb shit with the signs.
Oh yeah.
I
No,
love the
those-
guy out of the car 6 feet from the freaking elk in the middle of breeding season, and it's like, oh, I don't know why he got trampled.
Yeah.
They in the goddamn car.
Yeah.
There's two of them fighting there. I probably wouldn't want to go over there.
Yeah.
Like, oh, neat, look at that. All right, I'll get out of the car. I'm going to stand here with the door open so I don't have a windshield in my picture. Click, done, cool, awesome.
Yeah.
Next
Yeah.
next spot.
Yeah.
Like we did that when we were in Tennessee. There was we're driving down the road, and all of a sudden, like, these two black bears just come running out of the bush and are running around the cars. We didn't get out of the cars.
Yeah.
We didn't need to. Like, they were too
Exactly.
close. There was another spot where, they were 20 feet out off the road in a blueberry bush. Guess what? Park the car, get out, walk to the edge of the road.
Uh-huh.
Don't need to go into the bush with the bears.
Yeah.
No.
Hope you enjoyed that one. As always, remember to hit the like button, share, comment, turn that bell on for notifications when the next one goes up. And make sure to listen next time to the Cavecast.
So good.